Chinese President Xi Jinping writes to African scholars. In early August, Gert Grobler, Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of African Studies at Zhejiang Normal University and a former senior diplomat in the South African Department of International Relations and Cooperation, together with 63 scholars from 50 African countries, sent a joint letter to Chinese President Xi Jinping. In this letter, they extended their warmest congratulations on the successful convening of the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and highly appreciated the historic achievements of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation, FOCAC. They hoped the new FOCAC summit would write a new chapter for building a China-Africa community with a shared future and modernizing the global South. On August 27th, President Xi Jinping wrote a letter back to the scholars, encouraging them to continue to provide intellectual support for building a high-level China-Africa community with a shared future and safeguarding the common interests of the global South. The full text of President Xi Jinping's letter, Beijing, August 27, 2024. Dear African scholars, I hope this letter finds you all well. 14 years ago, when I was on a visit to South Africa, I extended the opening ceremony of the seminar celebrating the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation FOCAC and had a friendly exchange of views with you on China-Africa relations. I would like to express my appreciation for your commitment to studies on China and China-Africa relations and the platform you have provided for our African friends to know more about China's history, culture, and endeavors in the new era. Since China entered the new era, the Communist Party of China (CPC) and the Chinese people have worked with exceptional drive and vigor and scored great historic achievements in the cause of the party and the country. The third plenum of the 20th CPC Central Committee was held not long ago. It sounded the clarion call for further deepening reform and opening broader horizons for Chinese modernization. A growing China committed to peace and development as well as reform and opening up will bolster the forces for world peace and international justice and inject boundless energy into modernization of the wider world and development and revitalization of the global South in particular. China and Africa have always been a community with a shared future. In a turbulent and changing world, China and Africa need to strive for greater solidarity and cooperation than ever before. In the upcoming FOCAC summit, Chinese and African leaders will meet again to chart the course of China-Africa cooperation and the envision of brighter future for China-Africa relation. I hope that you will, building on the China-Africa Dar es Salaam consensus, conduct further studies on the development parts of the global South and on China-Africa and South-South cooperation, and continue to offer important intellectual support for building a high-quality China-Africa community with a shared future and upholding the common interests of the global South. I look forward to more insights from you. Xi Jinping, President, the People's Republic of China. In the meantime, high-profile delegations from India visit Hisense South Africa factory to strengthen BRICS partnership. A high-profile delegation from India visited the Hisense factory in South Africa this week in a significant move aimed to bolstering trade relations and strengthening of global economic ties. The visit, highlighted by the presence of South African High Commissioner to India, Professor Anil Shukla, underscored the deepening connections between the three key BRICS nations, particularly China, India, and South Africa. As a major player in the South African economy, the manufacturers continues to drive progress through substantial investment, job creation, and local manufacturing. The factory tour provided Indian delegates a first-hand look at these contributions, showcasing the company's role in empowering South Africa's economic growth. Professor Shukla emphasized the strategic importance of fostering trade relations among BRICS countries, particularly between South Africa, India, and China. Investment from companies like Hisense is vital, not only for job creations but also for sustaining our nation's development, he said. The visit also highlighted the crucial role of BRICS in shaping global geopolitics and economics. Professor Shukla reflected on the collaboration with BRICS. As we work closely with India, it is essential that we ensure the Global South remains integral in global decision-making. He expressed confidence in the continued cooperation between these nations, particularly as India prepares to lead BRICS in 2026. The visit solidified the strong historic ties between India and South Africa. Hisense's investment in the region exemplifies how global businesses can make a meaningful impact by creating jobs, upskilling local talent, and fostering innovation. At the end of the visit ended, all parties committed to continue building on these foundations, ensuring that the economic partnerships between China, India, and South Africa remained robust and mutually beneficial. Lunanoji reaffirmed the company's commitment to partnership and community development. By investing in South Africa, we're all building bridges between nations, empowering communities, and contributing to a more conducive global economy, said Noji. On the other hand, it will take over a century to achieve income equality between men and women. With 42% of South African households headed by females, the World Economic Forum's WEF 2024 Global Gender Gap report revealed that closing the gender wage gap will take another 134 years. A leadership expert and managing director at IIE Rosebank College, Dr. Linda Meyer, lamented that women remained subject to economic exclusion as they still lagged behind men when it came to income equality in the workplace. Despite strides being made to counter the gender biases in all economic sectors, where men tend to be at the helm of senior leadership, the WEF reported that only 32% of women occupy executive positions. In today's corporate landscape, achieving gender balance is a pressing challenge. While awareness around diversity is growing, translating intent into action often eludes many organizations, said Meyer. Meyer highlighted that South Africa was also beset with gender pay inequality. According to a PwC 2022 report, only 7 on the top 100 companies on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange JSE were led by women. Across all JSE-listed companies, women CEOs stood at 8%, while women chief financial officers numbered 22%. In all, women made up to 15% of the executive population. Moreover, the global political landscape also had an underwhelming presence of women. Meyer said little visibility of women in political arenas would hinder the enacting of policies that are inclusive and empower women. In the political arena, things are faring no better, as women's representation in the African Parliament is a mere 26% in 2024. This is particularly troubling given the importance of policy decisions impacting women and children. Rwanda leads the continent with 61% female representation in parliament, while Nigeria lags with less than 4%, said Meyer. South Africa has better figures, but there was a shortfall of women in the National Assembly. The Electoral Commission of South Africa IEC chairperson Mosoto Mwepia reported that 43.5% of the elected representatives were women, whereas 56.5% were men. Such statistics displayed slow economic inclusion and growth of women in executive roles, propelling their career stagnation. Hence, Mayer noted that absorbing more women in executive roles would prevent gatekeeping of young women who are just starting their careers. A critical area where this change can be accelerated is by appointing women into vacant leadership roles underpinned by robust succession planning that grooms and supports female candidates. Effective succession planning is essential in promoting gender diversity. We cannot simply accept that it will take over a century for women to stand on an equal footing with men. Organizations must prioritize succession planning that actively elevates women into leadership positions, ensuring that transformation is more than just a policy on paper, said Mayer. And that's it from Egypt's Africa. Stay tuned to USA political updates.